Boom, Ty, we are going. Welcome to the High Button Podcast.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
How was your weekend?
Not too busy. It was pretty good. I
Yeah.
was watching some of my brother's hockey. Just chilling, hitting a bit, going to the gym, the usual.
Where do you hit at?
I usually go to One Last Rep, or like in Burnside, the new place.
I don't know.
Or I go, like, my dad's got a place where I can just go in and whenever I want and just go hit. So
Okay,
it's
nice.
pretty good,
That's
yeah.
nice. Are you hitting like every day?
I think I'm hitting like 5 times a week because not for a while though. Like I'm starting to pick it back up now, just because I wanted to give myself like a little rest. Like I've been going for almost a year and a half now of like every single day we're doing stuff. So I just want to give myself a little break and a breather. So just light right now, but I'll pick it back up like almost after Christmas.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
17.
You're 17?
Yeah.
I thought you were like 23 for some
No,
reason.
no,
You're
no.
So you're still in high school.
Yeah, grade 12, and then next year I'll take a gap year. So
What does that mean?
Like, instead of going right to my university,
Yeah.
for ball, I'm gonna take like a year off, and then I'll go to my school after that. Just so, because my only offers were as a 23, so a 2023 graduate, and with like sports you can reclass, so you can like go back a year, you can redo a grade, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I decided to just take a gap year, take a year off, and then go to school after that. So I mean, I'll be the same age as every other guy in the States because in Canada we start school earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like and you get 4 years of draft eligibility instead of 3. Just another year to get bigger, stronger, and better. So it was like a no-brainer for me.
So are you going to go back to Okotoks with your year off, or do you stay here? How does that work?
I'll probably go back.
Yeah. Do you still have to make that decision? Or is it made?
I think it's made.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go back because I can still play on the high school team.
Okay.
And I'll play on the college team in the summer, this year and next year probably. So, I mean, the unlimited like reps that you get out there, it's like it's a no-brainer.
Well, dudes were showing me some of the photos from the stadium out there and the parking lot, the stands, everything looked full. We're going to get into that in a bit here.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to slow the roll here and talk about the game of baseball. I love the game of baseball.
Mm-hmm.
It's I shouldn't even. I am a baseball fan, but I think I'm more of just a Jays fan. If the Jays are doing well, I'm watching. If they're not, then maybe not. Maybe that's just the Canadian roots in me. But nonetheless, I love the game of baseball. I wish I played it when I was a little bit younger. From what Dudes was telling me about yourself and your old man and how the game was introduced to you, I'm not going to jump conclusion, but when you were younger, how was the game introduced to you?
Well, as long as I can remember, I was just hitting balls in my backyard, with my mom and my dad. My mom was my first coach, actually. Yeah. Yeah. My dad was still playing senior ball with dudes, and my mom coached like a rookie team or whatever. Yeah, I've been swinging since I was like 2 or 3. I mean, once I was born, and my dad was like, you could put a bat in his hands, right? So, yeah, but I don't know. Just my farthest memory is just baseball, so it's pretty cool.
Did it come naturally to you at 2? I guess you're 2 years old. Nothing really comes natural to you, but
Naturally, yeah. I think when I was younger, I had like the skill level and above everybody else. I think that was just genetics, and it was just like everything was natural. But obviously now you gotta. I mean, skill can only take you so far, right? So, yeah.
At what age do you start to bring the gym into consideration when it comes to your career? When we were younger, we always thought, okay, yeah, let's do gym, but let's not do weights. But I feel with baseball, you need weights. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it sort of changed because like the steroid era,
Yeah.
like in like late 90s, early 2000s. Before that, like when my dad would tell me like him and his teammates when he was in minor league ball, they would have to go to a rec center gym and work out because they wouldn't let him work out because they thought to get too big as a baseball player was bad. And I mean, it sort of is. It's kind of like with any other sport, you got to train like an athlete because if you get like too big or whatever, you stiff up and you got to be able to like move a bunch of body parts when you're playing baseball. But for me, I started going to the gym, I think my grade 10 year. So almost like 2 years now. I just do a bunch of baseball movements, especially in Okotoks. Like we have our own like trainer, who's like he got us on this weightlifting program. And then we do like conditioning programs and stuff like that. So it's like basically training like an athlete, but you need to get in the gym, which is for sure.
How did well, I guess starting out, where did you play around here?
I just played for Dartmouth,
Okay.
Dartmouth Arrows until I was in Bantam. And then once you get to 17U, you can't play like the provincial team and your club team. So I just played for 17U like provincial team, and then I went out west.
So how did the out west opportunity come about?
So they saw me at a national. I don't know if it was 15U nationals or 13U.
Okay.
And they kind of just kept tabs on me as I was going. And I think like during lockdown, I got a text message from the coach. He DM'd me on Instagram and he's like, "Hey Ty, we'd really like to come out. We've been eyeing you for a bit." And Micah McDowell, who went out there, he's from Kentville. He's now at Oregon State. He was, he told them about me, and then some other guys from here told them about me, and they offered me to go out there, and I was like, man, like Okotoks is the spot, right? So
Dudes was showing me the alumni list before you got here.
Yeah,
I believe you.
Yeah, so like everybody wants to go there when you're 15. You like they're the creme de la creme. So
when you got that DM, you just must have been.
I was so pumped. I was like, oh my god, I've been waiting for this. And then I was like, man, I got to do it. Like I can't not do it. And it changed my life. Like, I mean, I could stay. Like my dad everything he can do. When you go out there, like I wouldn't be going to Oregon State. I wouldn't play on the junior national team. I wouldn't do any of these things. I wouldn't be. But yeah, it was awesome.
I had a couple buddies that went down to what would you call that? Junior college or just like prep school?
Like
what would you call
Okotoks?
it? Okotoks. What would
I don't
you?
know.
It's almost like a hybrid kind of like it's like because it's not in the States, so it technically wouldn't be like junior college type thing, but it's like the big when you're growing up around here. You're like if you get an offer to go to Okotoks or you even get mentioned in it, it's like a big deal. It's like for hockey here when you get that like.
But like what compared to hockey though? Like what would it be like a team in the States? Like would it be like a?
Yeah, I think it would.
Is it a school? Is it a pro? Is
it? So it's like the Mooseheads, right? So
yeah.
The Mooseheads play on the Mooseheads, but they go to public school. So we we go to public school, and then the academy's separate. It's like
I got you.
Like together.
I got you.
Separate.
Yeah.
So I just say it's like an academy, I guess. Or
so how old were you when you left?
I was 16.
I have friends that went to school down in the States at like 15, 16 for hockey, and they said when they got dropped off and their parents left, it was almost like a reality set in.
Oh my God.
And I have a couple buddies that said they cried. Like it's tough.
Oh, no.
Like just how was it tough for you, or were you?
Oh yeah.
Like,
the first month is really tough. Like I mean, the first couple nights you're crying. You're like, man, why did I do this? Like first week you're like, I want to go home. Like I hate this. But me and my mom were like, just give yourself a month. If you still absolutely hate it, I'll take you home. But just give yourself a month. You're there. You got to try it. So I gave myself a month, and I'm still like, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. And then I kind of just like kept looking forward to Christmas, and it kind of made time go quicker. And then I you start making buddies, like you get really close with guys, and then my recruiting process started to speed up. And then I was offered by schools, and then it kind of like everything was like, oh, I'm good. And like after a certain point, you're like, you kind of accept the fact that you're not at home, and you kind of really like don't really think about it. But it's tough, especially at a young age, and you being home for like your entire life, and being around your family every single day. Like I was through January through like till like September when I came home, I didn't really see my family for like 7 months straight, and I had to play like a whole season of baseball without seeing my family. And like it's the first year I'm playing like actual competitive baseball. And I think it was really good learning curve though, because I had to learn how to deal with everything myself.
like what?
Like I struggle a lot with like my mental game. Like I tend to get down on myself a lot, and I had to learn how to because we played every single day. So I had to learn what happened. Just tomorrow you got to go out there and you got to be better, right? And the coaches do a great job of like working on stuff with you, but there's 200 kids in the academy and there's 25 kids on our team.
Yeah.
Right. So as a 17-year-old who's playing every day, starting out every day at first base, you're obviously not going to go 4 for 4 every night. You're going to have slumps. I think I was in a slump. Like I was 0 for like 15 at one point, and then you got to just you got to grind. It's like you got to get up today. You got to go out there. You got to get your swings in. You got to do your routine, and you got to go out there and you got to play. And you just got to keep going and going. And it's tough to, and I had to learn how to kind of deal with that myself, because you're not getting pats on the backs and hugs, because it's a business. What we were playing, it was a business.
At 17 years old, you're in a business.
We're entertainers. We had 2,500 people come to every game. Canada Day, we had 5,500 people. Like, you're there to entertain, and you have to. I had to learn what I think is good. It was kind of like a step towards where I want to be, pro ball. You got to learn how to do things yourself and how to carry yourself properly.
Well, you always notice it. I know when we have young hockey guys on who are 17, 18, and they left home at 16, whatever it was, you definitely notice the maturity on those guys, and you can see it in yourself. If you have to leave your home at the age you did and you have to fend for yourself, it definitely will put a little bit of a wear and tear on you. It's like building calluses on your hands when you're working out. It's just repetition of being by yourself each and every day, and you have to go through that grind, and you can definitely notice it at your, you said 17? How old are you?
17.
You definitely notice that right now.
Yeah.
The way you're able to just handle yourself in this conversation already. It's great to see.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
When you're there and you see those fans for the first time, nothing against the fans here. I've been to dudes games. There's been fans there.
Mm-hmm.
When you go away, and I guess I'm getting this from Sanford when he talks about you have to go away and you have to.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's true. I don't know the baseball community like you guys. I'm not shitting on anything. But when, Jake says you have to go away in order to get seen, in order to go to the States, which looks like the path that you're on right now. At what point did that settle in when you saw fans and people and a little bit more interest when it came to scouts and schools? When did that settle in for you?
I think I kind of knew that before I left.
Did you? Okay.
So I was like, no, I don't want to no offense to anybody around here, but you have to go to get seen. Like, people, they could try to find you, but you can't stay around here, right? So but for the fans, it was like our first game of the season. It actually got rained out. So, but I looked in the stands because we had to we were on the field, with all of our stuff, and we were trying to get the water off the field to play. Yeah. And I look up in the stands, and it is just packed. It's pouring rain and it's packed, and I'm like, oh my god, people are here to watch us play. I'm like, I've never had that feeling before. So it was kind of getting the exposure of people coming to watch you play, and people those people being scouts. And then when I went to LA, there was over 500 scouts watching your every move, and I'm like, oh my god, this is wow.
Did you go to LA to play in a tournament or just against the team?
Yeah, so I went to LA for it's called Area Codes. So it's
What's that?
Top 150 high school players in North America.
And you made that?
Yeah.
Dude, congrats. Holy shit.
Yeah. I was because I kind of knew what it was, but I would never expected to play in it. And I got the text from the coach, and he's like, yeah, man, you want to come play? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to come play. And then...
Nah, man, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
No, I don't want it. But, yeah, that was awesome. That was pretty cool. We went to Loyola Marymount University.
Okay.
Just literally downtown. We were in downtown LA. You play 4 games. It's sort of like a tournament, but there's no championships. It's just a scouting thing.
Prospect
right?
games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of scouts. Vanderbilt's head coach Tim Corbin was there. My Oregon State coaches were there. Everybody you can think of in the college world was there. Everybody, and then there was pro scouts there. Everybody, and I had no expectations going in. I'm like, you know what? If I hit 9th, I hit 9th. So first game I hit 6th. And I'm like, okay, I gotta show these guys. First at bat, 95 right to the back. I'm like, oh,
come on,
my god. First at bat, second pitch I see, and I'm in the box. I'm like shaking. I'm so nervous. And then next at bat, first pitch, I'm like, man, I just gotta swing. I don't care if it's a ball or strike. I'm swinging, and oh my god, I perfect line drive right in right field. And then I get back to the bench, and everybody's like, "Okay, Canada." Okay, because I was the only Canadian in the tournament.
You were the only Canadian.
Only Canadian.
Wow.
Now there was a underclassman and upperclassman.
Just a little closer to the mic, sorry.
There was a underclassman and upperclassman.
Yeah.
I was in the underclassman one, which is 23s, 24s graduates, 2023, and then the upperclassman's 22s. So I was the only Canadian in the 23, which was I was like, oh my god, I gotta do good. But I ended up playing really well. I ended up hitting like third the last couple games because they were like, wow, this guy's pretty good. So I was like, I'm glad I just had the opportunity to do it, and I made the most of the opportunity. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
So how does the recruiting side of all that work? I'm sure you're getting offers, and you chose Oregon, or is that?
Yeah.
Am I alled to say that? That's a known
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
That's a
yeah,
known
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
sorry.
That's
okay.
already been released.
Okay,
so.
sorry.
Yeah.
So how does that come about when you have offers?
So my recruiting process was kind of short. It was like almost like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So basically what happened was the coaches they were getting video of us in Okotoks, and they sent it to, like, they got so many like connections and everything like that. So they sent it to the coaches of a bunch of schools, and I got calls from a bunch of schools. I think or not a bunch, but like 5, I think. Most of them, they kind of like, you're from Canada, and they kind of like hang
I
up.
hate that.
They hang up on you. But I was so thankful. Oregon State took a chance on me, and then Cal State Fullerton, they offered me as well. Because once one school offers you, like, a bunch of schools start coming because they're like, oh God, like, he's gonna. But I just felt like Oregon State kind of wanted me more. Like, they were putting in way more effort towards me, and they were.
Could you give me an example of the effort?
So they took me on a Zoom call, and they kind of showed me around the facility. All coaches were on the Zoom call. You know Darwin Barney.
No.
Yeah, he played for the Jays,
played
baby.
for the Jays. He was second baseman with the Jays.
Wow.
Won a Gold Glove with Chicago. He's one of the coaches there. So he was on the call. I was like, oh my God, Darwin Barney is like on this call right now. That was before I like met like anybody like really like
big dog.
Yeah. They were just they just kept texting me, and they kept calling me. Coach Gibson, he was just like, every time he could get, he would message me and call me, and I'm like, man, these guys putting a lot of effort. They want me, and I'm like, let's go.
Seems like an easy choice at that point, right? Like you said, and that is a thing, man. When you're from Canada, it's like it's more and more possible, I guess, if you will, these days to move on and go places with the media and whatnot. But for them to put the effort in, it's just like it's easy, right? You're like, okay, these guys were just kind of like, hey, Ty, how you doing? Like, this is that, and then Oregon's just like messaging every day, and I want you to come here, and I want you to do this, and it's just like you're looking around going, okay, well, this is an easy choice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to go there because this is where the interest is, and it's a great program, and so it's pretty much a win-win for you at that point, right?
Yeah, and I mean, like, guys like Micah.
Yep.
My buddies who's gone there, and they were kind of like one of my dream schools before I even went to Okotoks. So I was like going to Okotoks expecting, you know what, I'm prepared to go junior college. I'm gonna grind it out, and then
Good mindset.
all of a sudden I just get a bunch of these offers. I was playing well, and then they were like, I never in a million years would have expected to get a call from Oregon State. Like, I don't know, when I did, I was my billet dad was right next to me, and I look at him and I show him the text from our head coach. He says, I got you a call with Oregon State tomorrow. And I look at my billet dad, I go, you might have to make this call for me. Like, I don't know if I can talk. And like the whole time I was on the call, I'm like, yes sir. I'm like
Whatever you say, yeah.
yeah. And I'm like freaking out. But no, you realize that they're humans just like you. They want you. Like, that's one thing I had to learn with the recruiting process is they want you. Like, they're trying to get you. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It was pretty cool.
Do you have any plans on going down to the school to take a little visit? I'm assuming you didn't because of COVID.
No, one of my buddies, Connor Pote,
Yeah.
who's committed there. He goes to Okotoks as well. He's on the junior national team with me. They did their visit because he's a 2022.
Okay.
So they did their visit. Oh man, like a month ago. So I'll do my official visit with my class, like all the guys that are in my class.
Okay.
Next October.
Nice.
So that basically they get you like. You just get a bunch of pictures. You go watch inter squads. Like, they put you in the jerseys, and you get to take pictures. So it's pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get to see everything. But it's sweet.
What's the baseball? Sorry, you go.
No, I was just going to try and piggyback on the recruiting process because, everybody around here knows your old man, right, Dewey. Was there ever a point where he just kind of sat you down and was like, here's like, obviously the recruiting process was a little different when he played, but now was there any point where he sat you down and was like, listen, man, you got some promise here. Here's how it's going to go. Like, did he ever kind of like break the recruiting process down for you to know that, this is what's going to come out. This is what they're going to say. There's going to be multiple people telling you different things. So did he ever like prepare you for this, or was this something you just kind of had to take face on?
He sort of prepared me, but he was kind of like, he never really went through like what I was going through, like with the calls and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But he kind of, when he was getting recruited for professional baseball, He was just like, he always would tell me, just you never know who's watching. You just you always gotta make sure, because he would always tell me, like he one time his coach saved him. Actually, he'd tell me the story. He jogged a first on a ground ball, and the scouts came down to the coach after the game and were like, "Why is Doucette jogging?" The coach was like, "Oh no, he's just got a bad ankle." And he's like, "If you ever do that again, I'm not saving you." But he was like, "Just make sure every time you go out there, somebody's always watching," because the way he got drafted, they were there to watch the opposing pitcher. My dad hit 2 bombs off him.
It's a prime example.
And they were like, "Oh my God, who is this guy?" Right? And then that's how he ended up getting drafted. So he's just like, you never know who's gonna be there, who's watching you. But
So would that have been when he was at Ulster, or would he have been?
Yeah.
Because that was like the only other school that anybody even heard of, and I think it was because of guys like him and guys like Header who went down there and just kind of like almost just opened the door for other people to even just know about it. And that's certain, like I said, it's not like what you're doing and what like guys like O'Toole have done and Grabman and stuff like that. Like it's a big deal, right? We don't want to sit here and pump you too hard, but it's a tough thing to make it out of here. As a baseball player, the main thing is the weather. You don't get to play all year. And now we have, one last rep in your dad's hitting place, and that's kind of something you can do year round, but that's just not, like when you're going out west and stuff, like you guys play all year round, and in the hotter places you're playing 365 days a year, so you're getting your reps all year. And I the one big downfall for us is that we can't do that all year. So like you said, you took a break, but you have 4 or 5 months of the year where you can't do anything, so you're playing hockey, which is great. People love multi-athlete sports, multi-sport athletes.
Yeah,
but it's just like when now you're seeing the real thing and you're seeing what it really takes to actually make it to the next level, and we just kind of don't really have that here. It's starting to get bigger, but it's just something that is very rare, and it's a really cool thing.
Yeah. You can especially tell with the guys from the States, like, up until my grade 10 year, I really never did like an off season. Like I just played for 3 months and then went. But like those guys have been like having off seasons since they were 8 years old. Like they never stopped since they were 8. And the guys from Dominican, they literally play 8 hours a day, like since they're like 5 years old. It's ridiculous. So you have to. I wish I would have started earlier. I wish I would have.
2 years old you started though.
I know, but
I guess you can't play every day.
You can't really play every day, and they're like getting like professional coaching like every single day, and then they're signed at 16 for $4 million at 16 years old, and then they turn out like Juan Soto's or Ronald Acuna Jr. stuff like that.
What's the 18 New Friendship Series?
That was when we went down and played the States for like a 7-game series.
Where? Down where?
Bradenton, Sarasota, in Florida. So we went to Ed Smith Stadium, which is the the Orioles spring training stadium. We went to Pirate City. That's where we kind of like had our practices, and we kept all of our stuff. The Pirates were awesome for that. Like they free food. Like I remember the first day we were there, we had lamb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Had you ever had lamb before?
No. I didn't really
Not in Dartmouth.
I didn't really like it though.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly.
But then we went to where else we went? We played the Trop. We played at the Pirates spring training field. Wow. So it was awesome. But like I seen 101.
What's that?
Like 101 miles an hour.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
Did you hit it?
Close
your eyes and just.
I did though. I hit like a ground ball to shortstop, but it was like one of those ones like I'm so thankful I got on the barrel, because if I got off the end of my hands, I'm literally breaking my hands.
At least you didn't get it in the back.
No. When I tell you, like, I could if a pitcher was throwing 94 and then you bring in another guy who's throwing 95, I could tell which is which. That's how much of a difference there is between 94 and 95. And then when you get above 95, like the guy's pitches were moving about like this much, and it was probably going up about that much. And it was like from like this slot, so it wasn't over the top. It was kind of like, oh my God.
I'm gonna try and dumb it down for Belly, because the arm angle and everything for him is. I'm going to try and do it the best I can, but like over the top, there's like, it's almost like straight. It might have a little tail, but when you have this certain slot from here, when you release the ball, it has a tendency to how like a two-seamer, that's what like his normal arm slot would be. A two-seamer does like it's a fastball, but it has some spin to it, like a little tail.
Okay.
And the arm slot is what creates the motion. So when you're getting 96, 97, and it's moving a foot, it starts at your hands and it's finishing on the outside
Oh,
part of
sorry.
the plate.
So it's
right. So it's
okay,
just that arm slot and the way they release the ball. It's almost impossible to sit here and explain
No, I got you a
without
little
actually
bit.
going out and doing it. But it's like, as a baseball player, when you hear, when his arm slot's like, 90 or 75 or whatever, and it's just like, you're like, oh no,
yeah.
like, because right up over the top's just coming straight down, right? Like, and anything down, you see the submariners, how their stuff does that. And that's just, it's just, I mean, in your head, it seems impossible to hit, right? But then you get up there, and I thought it was amazing that you said you could tell between 94 and 95.
Yep.
But then after that, it's like, what is he throwing? Is there a big difference between the 95 and the 100, or is it, can you tell the difference or not?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't even know how to explain it really. It's kind of weird. It's like you can pick it up. Is like from like 90 to 94, you can pick it up out of the hand. But once you get to 95, like 95 hits, it's like it feels like it's coming out of his hand. It's literally on you as it's coming out of his hand, like that. Like and especially that guy, when he was like this, the ball would come out like here, and it would like go this way, and then it would like rise up.
Yeah,
that way.
that was a good explanation.
So okay. Well, you said like when you got there, you're playing every day, and you weren't used to that. Because here, you guys said you just weren't playing every day. When you were playing here, were you able to tell the difference between 94 and 95? Or is it only in this past year?
I'm here, like, guys throw like 80.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So, okay.
So like I didn't see 95 for the first time until like this winter. Like Matty Grabman.
Yep.
He's on our team in Okotoks. He's from here as well.
Dartmouth.
He throws 97 now, I think, and he was throwing like 94 in the winter. And then we had this other guy from BC. He was throwing like 94, and that was the first time I've seen like 90s.
What was that like, seeing it for the first time?
It looked like 100.
Yeah.
The other thing you got to consider too for him, for his age, it's like no one in U17 selects or Canada Cup. Maybe there's the odd guy, but he's probably not throwing against Nova Scotia, let's be real, that might throw 90, maybe 92.
Yeah.
Like, it was a rare thing. Like, even when I was coming up playing through the ranks, the first time I seen 90 was, I think, maybe Schreider hit it once or something like that. But we played Andrew Case in Senior Nats a couple years ago, and he was throwing like 93, play for the Jays, and you don't get to see it. So in order for you to be able to pick up 95, you have to see it a couple times. So you said you took the one in the back, and then the next time you're like, okay, I seen how hard it was. Now I just have to get the barrel through, hoping it's not going to be in the back again, and then you can adjust. But if you don't ever see it, it'd be like a goalie trying to take a 150-mile-an-hour slap shot for the first time in his life at 17. He'd never seen it before.
I gotcha.
It's insane. And if you don't get to see it, you don't get the reps, right? So,
What's the hockey community, obviously, in Canada is awesome. Like, there's funding, there's everything. What's the baseball community like down in the States when you go play?
It's unreal. When we went, like, just the way the USA, like, UA team program, like runs everything, it's like they run it like, I mean, we run it like a professional team too, but the way they run it is ridiculous. I think I don't even know. I don't want to like give a random number, but I remember hearing, I don't know if there's a rumor, but their 18U program is like funded with like $50 million. So they have like
resources.
They have like six, 7 jerseys. They get like a million stuff. They get everything. They get batting gloves, bats, everything like that. It's really like here, like, and but you also have like in the States, like people that create like teams, and they create like stuff like travel ball teams, and it's like a money, like they just want like it's like a money scam.
It's like spring hockey here.
It's like
kinda.
spring hockey.
Yeah.
So they're just like, it's like any way they can to make money. Like they'll tell you like, we're gonna get you to Division 1, but.
Yeah.
They just basically sell it by reps. Like, oh, do you want to play an extra month of the year? Let's do this. You want to do this? You want to see 95 for the whole season? Then let's do this, right?
Yeah.
But there's going to be that in every sport. So
Yeah. Best of the is the best of the best in the States, or is it still Cuba, Dominican?
that's not for me to answer.
I'm not sure because we head down to the Dominican in May. With the junior national team. So we go. We play the Jays on Sportsnet like this in spring training. We don't play like Vladdy and Bo Bichette, but for example, like Bo Bichette played the Team Canada like 4 years ago. So it's like those type of guys that are going to come up. Yeah. It's like those type of guys that are going to come up through the ranks.
Prospects.
Yeah. But yeah, we go to Dominican, so that should be fun. I want to see what they're like. They're probably crazy.
Yeah.
When is that?
Late May.
Late May.
Or like
okay.
Like late May, I think. Yeah.
That'll be awesome.
That's gonna be fun. And we go to Florida twice before that. We go March, Florida, April, Florida, and then May we go to Dominican, and then next September we have World Baseball Challenge.
What an accomplishment making the national junior team, man. Congrats on that.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
awesome.
Yeah, it
so,
is.
So how does that program work? You don't. It's not an actual league. It just sounds like you go and you travel and you play the best of the best.
Yeah, so it's like there's no league, there's no nothing like that. We just go on trips, and it's just for exposure and all that stuff like that. Like we went to the friendship series that you were saying, and then like a month and a bit ago, I think a month and a couple of weeks, we were in Florida again for a training camp. Like the new teams that are coming in, like 04, 05, 06 year group. And we went to Dunedin. We went to TD Ballpark. That was awesome.
Wow.
And Russell Martin was one of our guests. Like he was our guest coaches. Like he was there all the time. Our trainer brought in Prince Fielder's dad, Cecil Fielder.
Oh.
That was ridiculous. I was like, oh my God. Like the size, usually the most impressive thing, the size of his hands. I thought I had pretty big hands. His hands are like triple my hands.
Is he bigger than your old man?
Oh my God, he's like 6'4", like just massive, right?
Oh,
I think he hit
God.
like 500, 600 home runs in the big leagues. Throw it like 70s and 80s, right? I was like, our trainer was like, how do you even know who this guy is?
Baseball family, baby.
Yeah, he was apparently he was a trainer for the Blue Jays in like the 80s and 90s. So
Wow.
But yeah, it basically it's just like a recruiting, or not like a recruiting thing, but just
I
like
got you.
Yeah.
So as you're traveling from destination to destination and you're seeing different cultures, you're meeting new people. Obviously, at the end of the day, you want to be sure you're becoming a better baseball player. So what are you looking to gain from each place that you travel? Like when you go to the Dominican, I'm sure you're looking to pick up something from maybe a Dominican player. When you go down to Florida, maybe you're looking to pick up something from a United States coach. I don't know. I could be wrong, but as you travel, that was always the benefit for Dudes and I. Every time remember when we went down to Gatineau when we played that team from Detroit and they kicked the shit. That's a learning. You learn
right.
from that. So when you travel and you get to play against some incredible baseball players, what are you looking to pick up?
I usually look at like watching how they just go about their business, watching how like they take BP, how they in game, how they hit, how they're like engaged in every play. Especially like the Dominican guys, you notice now in the big leagues how like confident and like outgoing they are. Which is one thing that it's good for baseball because it keeps you in the right mindset. Like, if you're telling yourself, man, I suck, I can't do this, like you're never gonna get a hit, right? You gotta consistently tell yourself you're gonna get a hit, you're gonna be good, you're the best player, even if you may not be. I mean, that's just how it goes, right? So I look for just way guys like handle themselves.
Yeah, I love baseball culture. It's very similar to hockey culture, how it's loose in the room. As long as you're working hard and it's a team mentality, you're going to win and have fun. Whenever we watch the Jays on Sportsnet, you see those guys having the time of their life in the bullpen, just doing whatever they want, but they're performing. I love that about baseball.
Yeah, it's really, and it's good. Our junior national team coach, Greg Hamilton, unreal. Like just one of the greatest coaches I've ever had. He doesn't really like, he just keeps it loose, keeps it fun. Which I think helps us. But when he's like, let's go, we know to get engaged. But he keeps it fun, he keeps it loose, and same with the other coaches. So it's like it's really easy to play good when you're comfortable and you're loose and you're having fun. Instead of like if you're so tight and you're like, oh my God, I'm scared to make a mistake. You can't play as good as if you're relaxed and you're loose.
I feel with baseball, every time I go watch Dudes play, or just every time I'm at a baseball game, there's so much going on. I guess not in terms of rules, but in terms of situations. I'll always be learning the game of baseball. I don't know if you guys know everything, but in your head, do you still look for situations that are rare to you and try to gain knowledge on them?
Oh yeah, like I mean, you can never stop learning.
Yeah,
that's one thing. Like, there's so much stuff in this game and new stuff. It's like, and you want to be put in those situations where you've never been in. So,
could you give me a situation like that's extremely rare in baseball that you'd love to be in?
Like, I don't know.
It's a tough question.
Yeah, like maybe, I don't know, something to do with, like just like hitting, like a hitter's count, like. Like if you get into like different situations and a coach puts like a bunt on or something like that, you have to know like what you're doing as a base runner, like what you're doing at the plate. So like different, like as like a guy like me, I usually don't bunt.
Big dog, baby.
Yeah, I usually don't bunt, but you have to know how to bunt, right? So that's one thing our coaches in Okotoks really stress about is knowing how to bunt, because once you get to university, like you bunt every single day. It's crazy, and it's really good for like bat to ball, but yeah. There's no real. I can't really think of like a rare situation.
You just want to be prepared for any situation that comes to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I can't really think of rare.
No, that's fine. How do you pick your position in baseball? Does the position pick you, or do you pick the position?
Sort of. Once like now, like I'm like a first baseman, right? But now once I'm getting older, like it's tough to only have one position. So I'm kind of like hybriding into like a corner outfield, corner infield guy, so like first, third, and left field.
First, third, and left field.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it kind of picks you. I mean, your body type really kind of chooses it.
Mm-hmm.
What type of body type are you?
I'm like more of like a bigger guy. Like,
well, he's like 6'4".
I can't.
Well, I don't know. What does that mean? Is that
So,
a
like,
catcher? Is it like who the guy from Kansas City? That guy's like 7 feet.
Who, Salvador?
The guy from Kansas City, the catcher. He's huge.
Yeah, he's massive. So like kind of like more like built strong. Like my build is more like a first base catcher. You see those speedy guys like a Byron Buxton or like a Kevin Pillar, like those guys. They're the center fielders. And then corner outfield guys, usually a guy with like a strong arm that can play like a Ronald Acuna Jr. He can play, a Bryce Harper. They put him in right field, like a Mookie Betts. They got really good arms, so they're able to throw guys out, because left field's a shorter throw because you got to throw to third base from right field. So
that's correct.
And like left fielders like me, that's why I wouldn't play much right field, because I don't really have that great of an arm. Stick me out in left field. That way it's a shorter throw. I mean, I don't really have to go get a bunch of balls, because more balls are hit to right field than left field. And shortstops are quick guys, quick hands. Third bases guys, again, with good arms. I can throw. And then pitchers, they just throw hard.
I think it was a good question though, because I know for me growing up, and obviously I haven't done shit in baseball, but for me, like, they weren't going to put 5'2" dudes at first base, right? First base, there's a ton of plays. You normally have your big guy there, and a lot of the times it's one of your big hitters, right?
Yeah.
So you almost want to, I don't know if it's protecting them or not, but it's like the body type, and it's like what your attributes are. So if you are 6'3" and you're not very quick, but you have really good hands, then they're probably not going to put you at shortstop. They'll probably throw you at second base or something like that, because you got to have that foot speed at short, and you got to be able to charge the ball, and you got to be basically doing stuff at all times, right? So the other thing too, I think for you, Ty, is that growing up, you got to watch your old man all the time. That's the position he played. I know he wasn't really known for his fielding necessarily.
Played first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was left-handed too, and you're not.
Yeah, no, I'm not left-handed, but usually they stick, because lefties can't play like the infield, because it's like you got to field it and then you're like turning.
I gotcha.
So yeah, if you actually think about that, when was the last time you would have seen a left-handed shortstop? It just doesn't happen, right? So it does kind of choose you, I guess, is my point. But the other thing too is when you're younger, you play a bunch of different positions, and then you kind of, it's on the coach more or less to be like, okay, that's where I'm going to put you, because that's where you're going to succeed. You're not going to try and set somebody up for failure, right? So, but I thought it was a good question, because I like what you said, where you're just trying to learn everything, because what you want to be is you want to be somebody where the coach goes, okay, well, maybe we have a better option at first base, but we like you in left field as well. So now you're still in the lineup. Maybe you're not playing what you thought you were going to be playing, but you're in the starting lineup, and that's what matters.
Yeah, it's just another way to get you in the lineup. Like, if you can hit, they'll find a spot for you. That's basically what they're saying. Like, defense is really important, but offense is, if you can hit, you're an asset. So. Yeah.
It's just like Moneyball when they made that guy play first base, even though he couldn't play, but he could hit.
He could hit. Yep, that's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Do you like the movie Moneyball?
Love it.
Yeah,
yeah.
I love it too.
I think it's one of my favorite baseball movies. That and The Sandlot.
How can you not like The Sandlot?
I know.
Yeah, you got to. Can you breathe? All right, you like The Sandlot.
I like The Field of Dreams too. That's a pretty good one too.
Yeah. With what's his name there? It's a great. What was that game the other day? Not the other day, last year, where they played the Field of Dreams, and they came out. They came out through the cornfield. Holy,
is that Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner. That's what it was.
Yeah, baby, nailed it.
And they come out through the cornfield. It looked like the movie.
Oh no, that was awesome. I remember watching that game. That was pretty cool.
That's one of the crazy parts about baseball now. Is remember how you said like the Dominican guys are like, they got personalities and stuff. Back in the day, it was kind of considered like, I don't want to offend anybody, but like an old guys club, right? You kind of went out, you did your business. There wasn't a whole lot of like flash and dash. There was like guys like Ricky Henderson and stuff like that. But now with the media era and stuff like that, you know, in all these interviews and stuff, personality is so good for the game because
Every game, not even baseball. They're
and
good
that's
for every
exactly
game.
right. But now there's a fine line you have to walk, and you look like a guy like Marchand in hockey. Yeah, he plays that role, but he's a fine line. But in baseball, like the Dominican guys, they seem cocky, and I think that was the big downfall that everyone thought was, oh, these guys are so cocky. But you know, you're coming up as a kid, and you want to be like Ronald Acuna Jr. You want to be like, you know, Jose Altuve. These guys with personalities. You don't just want to be a robot and just go through the motions and do everything, right? Like a lot of the things now is you as a person, right? Are you going to be a good guy in the room? Are you gonna, you know, are you gonna freak out every time you get out like me, or are you just gonna go about your business and have a good time and be upbeat for everybody else? And I think that's kind of where we're seeing the game go is personality wise, right?
How do you think the game of baseball is right now? There's a lot of people saying it's too slow. There's a lot of people saying that the umps are extremely inaccurate. What do you think about the game of baseball and where it sits?
I think it's good right now. Like, you know, they were trying out that new umpire system.
Sanford was telling us about
yeah,
it.
I don't know if I really like that. I'd rather it be like almost a decision by an umpire and more so like a machine, because like, I mean, that's just the fun part about baseball. It's like you never know. It keeps you guessing.
The human element.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the game's too slow. I mean, they're trying to speed it up, but if you really love baseball and you like watching baseball, like, you know, I mean, if you want to go watch a baseball game and you want it to be short, like it's not going to be fun because there's going to be no runs. It's going to be like, I mean, it's probably a pitching duel if you like pitchers, but if you like pitchers, like kind of weird to me. Like, who wants to go? Who wants to go to a baseball game and watch people like pitchers unless you're a pitcher? But like,
it's a nice addition to the game, right? But it's like you're not just going. I'm not watching the rest of the field, just the pitcher.
Yeah, I'm trying to see some bombs. Like, I'm trying to go there and I want to see doubles and home runs.
Yeah,
I want to see people like pimp bat flips and stuff like that. I'm like, now if a pitcher's going crazy like that, Trevor Bauer is now like screaming off the mound. That's kind of funny, but like, I mean, I think it's good where it is right now. But as the game like kind of moves on, like they might, because if they're losing like viewership and stuff like that, they might have to. Yeah. But I think it's good right now where it is.
Off the top of your head, can you give me 3 unwritten rules in baseball?
3 unwritten rules. Let's see. Oh my God. I mean, if you're up by like 10, no stealing. Mm-hmm. I mean, they say like 3-0, don't swing. I mean, that's changing. It's kind of fading away now.
Yeah. The guy from San Diego did that.
Yeah, Tatis. Yeah. I mean, I think if it's 3, I think you should swing 3-0. But it was kind of like an unwritten rule. Like all the old guys are getting really mad about it and stuff like that.
Old guys club. That's what I said.
I'm offended right now.
You should be.
And I'm trying to think what else. Another unwritten rule.
Give me one more.
Oh my God. Why is my phone going crazy? Unwritten rule. Oh my God.
It's tough, eh?
Like, oh my God. Like once you said to think about it, I guess like no bat flipping or like no like showing up in their opponent.
Yeah.
I think that depends on the score.
That depends on the score.
What about like stepping on the chalk line? Like, that's more of a superstition.
Stepping on the chalk?
Yeah, like the first base line.
Yeah, if you can't step on the line. Cannot step on the line.
Interesting.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
But what if you run into the base? The line's right there.
Oh, so it's going out onto the field.
Yeah, when you're going on and off the field, you can't step on the line. So like, you ever see the video of like when oh my God, my memory's bad. Like, who was the after 9/11 when the president went out on the field?
Was it Sammy Sosa?
Yeah. No.
Oh, Derek Jeter.
No. When he went out, who was the president that time?
George Bush.
George Bush. When George Bush went on the field, he stepped on the line.
No.
Yeah, right on the line.
No.
So everybody was like, oh my God, like, he ruined it, stepped on the line.
That was a great video. They had a great behind the scenes video of that.
I watched that.
And Derek Jeter was like, you better throw from the mound, because if you don't, they'll boo you.
They'll boo you.
And he threw it right down the strike. Like, it was a cool video for sure.
Cool. I remember watching that.
That was really cool.
Oh yeah.
This could be a ridiculous question, but in hockey, at the end of practice, you're supposed to pick up the pucks, not to show respect, but just to show, like, if you're like a younger guy on the team and you pick up the pucks after practice, it's like, okay, this kid cares. He shows respect. Could you? I guess it's not even a question. It is a question. What's the significance to that in baseball? If you're a rookie, what are some things you do around the clubhouse to show the senior guys, okay, this guy is doing the little things?
Mm-hmm. Obviously, picking up the balls, that's a good one. We have a weight room as well.
Yeah.
If you're like cleaning up your weights and you're putting it back where it is, I guess honestly, for the veteran guys like this year, it's just like showing them like more like respect. Like you've already been through what I'm going through, like, and kind of like asking them questions on the like how's my swing look today? Like, is that a good swing? Or like when they get out of the cage, a good round, stuff like that, or like kind of like trying to learn from them. But yeah, like I mean, picking up baseballs is kind of like a rookie thing.
Yeah.
I mean, veteran guys still do it. It's not like they're not going to do it. But as a rookie, like if you leave baseballs, like the veterans will get on you, and then obviously the coaches will get on you too, and you're like, then now you got to pick up every single ball. Like you're the only guy that's picking up balls today.
That's kind of an unwritten rule too, right there.
You're almost better off in a rookie situation to just take it upon yourself to do it.
Yeah.
You would much rather be told not to do it than have someone to tell you to
Exactly.
it. Like there might be a vet guy that's like, no, this is what I do. Like this is me. I pick up the balls, which is pretty rare, but it's because these guys, it's the same as hockey. It's the same in any sport. You do things, but you're better off just going and doing it. And then that way they're like, okay, this guy, he knows his role. He wants to be better. He wants to be part of the team. But it doesn't change from sport to sport. So I feel like there's a whole lot less opportunities. Like in hockey, you have like gear off the bus and pucks in the net. But in baseball, you're in a cage, and it's like whoever's hitting and whoever's the next guy up is kind of the rule.
Yeah.
Where you go pick up balls like the next two guys. There's not like a whole lot of get the rookies in here and do this stuff. Right.
Gotcha.
So,
what flavor seeds?
Ooh, I gotta go with. Okay, hear me out. So
that's why we're here.
My buddy, Connor Poto, I mentioned earlier, we were at the training camp in Ontario, the first training camp for the junior national team, and you get black pepper seeds, and you put Sour Patch Kids in them, shake them up, and you put it in your mouth. Unreal.
okay.
It is so good.
What?
Okay, so backtrack. You black pepper seeds, very self-explanatory. Sour Patch Kids, very self-explanatory. So you're looking to get the sugar or the flavor from the. Like I'm so confused because obviously I would never just try this.
No. It's just the taste of it.
Okay.
It's like you get like the sweetness of the Sour Patch Kids, and then like the taste of the pepper, and it's like, oh my god, this is awesome. I was so hesitant to try it. I'm like, that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
I feel like this is the equivalent to peanut butter on a burger. It's like at first it sounds a little,
yeah.
But then you try it. Like I'm not against it. Like we'll give it. Like I got nothing to do today. That's what I'll do. I'll try it out.
It's nice. I love it, and it's like, and you get two Sour Patch Kids, and then like the rest are seeds. And you just put it in your mouth, and it's unreal. It's so good.
Are you a gum guy during the games?
More seeds.
Oh
I don't really chew gum. I only chew seeds when I'm on defense, though.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, I can't chew seeds while I'm hitting because I think too many things. That's one of my problems. I literally get to the plate and I'm thinking like 100 billion different things. Like if you think of the plate, you're screwed.
I feel sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you're not out of the ordinary in that situation, and you said it earlier in the podcast about how you play every day, and like if you're down on yourself, you don't have time to sulk because your at bats coming in 12 hours. You know what I mean? Or you take it out into the field, and now if you're not going to be a positive thinker, and it's so hard. Everybody listening, everybody in here in this room right now knows that it's one of the hardest things for an athlete is to stay mentally strong and mentally confident in your abilities. But in baseball, you just don't have. Sometimes you don't even get a chance to redeem yourself for a while. Like
because you got to wait for the lineup.
He might strike out twice, and then his next at bat, he gets no pitches to hit, so now he can't do anything to make it better. Yeah, you got to walk or something like that, but it's like when you're a hitter and a big time hitter guy, you're trying to get that extra base hit, you're trying to drive that run in, and if that's not what you're doing, now you're trying to find other ways to be successful. But in baseball, I find is like you kind of just got to stick to what you do. I'm not saying don't branch out and don't try and do other things, but you can't just try and change your game on Thursday for Friday because you struck out twice or something.
Yeah, but you guys are saying the more you can versatile your game, the more opportunity you'll get to play.
Okay, so position-wise.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We're just talking batting. Sorry.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
Sorry,
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't even know where we started with that, but anyways.
Yeah, all good. I had a question. Oh, yeah. What's your relationship like with Sanford? Is there a relationship? It's all right if there isn't.
Yeah. I was hitting with him like last week, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's still here.
Yeah. Before he left, went to go to I think he's in Arizona now.
Yep.
Yeah. I see him at the gym a bunch.
Okay. What do you guys talk about?
Just how he's doing with his career. Obviously, I've been following him. I think everybody has.
Yep.
Just talking about his career, like things like what he does. I haven't really talked to him much about like the hitting aspect of stuff, which I hope to do soon.
Why didn't you should have asked him?
Well, I was kind of like, I was literally like, he hit with us, and I was only there for like 20 minutes, and then I had to go. But I want to get in deep with like, because I'm a really big like watching and like learning new stuff about hitting. Like I'll like sit in my room and just watch and write notes about stuff, and then stick them on my wall and look at them every morning. I'm like, okay, that's what I got to do today at practice. Or I like take pictures of it on my phone before practice. I look at it, and I'll work on one thing that I learn. I watch a lot of like Barry Bonds talk about hitting. I watch a lot about like Freddie Freeman talk about hitting. A lot of those guys like that. And I just try to pick up little things to learn, like a new tee routine, or like things to work on the tee, like just getting inside of like a professional hitter's mind. I really like doing that. So,
would you consider yourself a baseball nerd?
Yeah, 100%.
That's a good thing.
100%. Yeah.
So, yeah. So right now, what are you working on in the gym? Or I guess not even in the gym, just in general, to try to make yourself a better.
Right now, probably, honestly, not even like anything like really physical. It's my mental game.
Interesting.
I'm trying to work on my mental game a lot this off season. One thing I tried at junior national team camp, I was talking with one of my coaches, Cole Armstrong.
Mm-hmm.
He played like AAA. And I talked with Coach Deuce. I played for the Jays, and we were talking about how my approach at the plate, and I could tell my approach at the plate, and then he was like, okay, but what do you think when you get to play? Are you thinking about your approach? And I'm like, oh my God, no.
Sorry, what do you mean by approach at the plate? What does
so
that
like
mean?
You have to have an approach. If you don't have it, the first thing when you of hitting is you need an approach.
But what is?
So when you're on deck, my approach on deck is like I'm watching the pitcher, watching where his release is, watching what he throws the batters. So like even like I usually hit like 3 or 4 in the lineup. 3 to 6 is usually where I hit. So I'm watching the players before me. He starts off a lefty with a changeup. When we go through one time through the order, I've seen every pitch that he has, and every lefty that he's faced, he's thrown a changeup or he's started with a fastball or whatever. So I know that in the back of my mind what he likes to throw in these counts and what he's going to start me off with. So I have that approach right there, and then I look for pitches. So like, my pitch is middle in, so I look for a fastball middle in every pitch, and then like every strike I get, I expand the zone. So I split the plate up into 6 zones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I look 1, 2, 3, and if he throws it there, I'm locked in and I'm swinging. If he throws it 4, 5, 6, good on you. Tip my cap, good on you, good pitch. And then when he gets a strike, then I'll expand. So I'll look for a pitch from like 1 to 5. Or like I'll look for and then
meaning 1 to 5 is like where in the strike zone?
Yeah, I'll look for pitch 1 to 5.
Like the square on the TV. So you're putting squares within that square. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'll look for like something I can drive. Or if it's like a changeup count, I don't really like to sit on off speed, especially now where I'm facing like 95. So like if I'm sitting a changeup or a curveball and he throws 95 above my belt,
no chance.
You're not hitting it.
So when you say approach, you just mean game plan.
Like a game plan.
Okay,
yeah.
okay,
exactly
okay,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Yeah, so
interesting.
It's really, my approach is really in deep. But I kind of I would get in the box and I'd be thinking, oh my, like where are my hands, like where am I, like where everything's at.
Yeah.
So then I had to start thinking like, and I literally would just like get in the box, I stare at the pitcher and I'd be like, you're not beating me. I'd look in his eyes, I'm like, you're not beating me. So that would kind of keep my mindset is like I'm not losing this battle, like I'm winning. And if I lost it, so what? Then next time I get up, I'm not beating. I would say some other things to him as well.
Like you're mouthing it to him, or you're saying it to him.
I'm like saying it. Like you're
not beat.
I'm like F you, you're
You're
not
a pussy.
beating. That's what I look him right in the eyes. I look him right in the eyes and I'd say that, and it worked.
But there's a lot of stuff like that in ball. It's like a mental game.
I
Like
love
sometimes
that.
you lock eyes with the pitcher, and it's kind of like, okay, like now I'm in there with him, right?
It's a
like,
battle between me and you, and you're not beating me. It's like when I thought on junior national team, I kind of had a bad camp, my first camp, because I would just keep getting so unlucky. I think I hit the warning track like 7 times. And I was getting so unlucky, and I was getting all this, and then I get down on myself, and that's the worst thing you can possibly do because I was having good swings. They just weren't getting the results. So I kind of tried to stay away from caring so much about the results and caring more about, was that a quality at bat? Like, did I swing at good pitches? Did I win the battle? One thing that Barry Bonds said that really made sense to me was every pitch is like how he stayed locked in for so long. Every pitch is a battle. So if he got first pitch ball, Okay, I won, so I'm up 1-0. And then the next pitch, he fouled off, had a good swing. He's up. Okay, 2-0. I got that. But then he swings and misses. Okay, 2-1. But every at bat he tried to win, and if he won that at bat, that's a good at bat. So even if he struck out, but he won like the at bat like 3-2, he won that at bat. That's a quality at bat.
Because you got to roll with the things that are help. Like baseball's so hard, man, and I don't care what anybody says. It's so hard if you think about the science behind it, the little ball, the little bat, whatever. But I like that you said that, the battle, because, yeah, you hit the warning track all the time and you may get chirped and stuff, warning track power, that kind of stuff. But what was leading you to get there? And, like, you got to roll with the things in baseball when there's so much going on and there's so many scenarios and there's so much, like, guy on second, guy on third, what are we doing? Like, you got to roll with what's working for you. And eventually, like, you see guys, like for Tibby, for example, when we play at one point in the season, he was just absolutely roping baseballs, but they were just going right to guys like that. And you're thinking, man, is he going to snap? Like, and he just doesn't, right? Because he's had that experience of coming up through the ranks, and he just kept rolling with it because he's hitting the ball square, he's hitting the ball hard. It's not finding holes, but eventually it will, and then eventually they start leaving the yard, right? So you roll with what's working for you. It's no different than any other sport. You're not going to be a fourth-line hockey player, and you hitting out there every shift is really sparking the boys. You're not just going to stop doing that because you're not scoring now. You know what I mean? So I've never actually heard someone break the at-bat down.
That's really cool.
To the point of like, okay, you're up 1 pitch, now we're tied. Now you're up 2 pitches. Okay, you won that battle, but I won this. You know what I mean? That's crazy, and I think that's the difference probably why I suck and you don't. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, well, like you're saying, like you can't care about results. Like if you're focused on results, you're kind of screwed. But yeah, I'm really in deep with like how people control at bats. Like I watched, like when I went, we were at training camp and I went and watched one of my favorite players. Both you dudes, you might know him, but his name's Yohan Moncada, third baseman for the White Sox. Now he's not a big name guy. He'll hit like 260, but if you look at his on base percentage, it's like 400, right?
Which is good,
which is
I
good,
know that.
which is really good. And what I did was, that's why I like him so much, the way he controls his at-bat. So I went and watched White Sox Blue Jays during one of our training camps in Ontario in like August, and I watched him, and I seen every single time he had 4 hits in the game. Every single time was in a hitter's count, and 2 of them were on the first pitch. So I'm like, okay, so this guy has a game plan going into the game, and I'm watching him, and he's ready. He knows what he's getting. The first 2 pitches he had bats, he got a hit off were fastballs, and then he got deeper into the count, and it was a 2-1 hitter's count. And he got a curveball, and he sat on it and laced it into right field. I'm like, wow, like I like watching like the game within the game. Like I like watching like
that's what this podcast is about. Game within the game.
Yeah, like I don't know, and that really stood out to me. Like people like just regular watchers of baseball, they don't really pick up on that. And I tried to watch like how he controlled the at bat, like what he was doing. Like what he was doing within the at bat and how he would get the hit every time. And I'm like, how do big league hitters like consistently get hits?
Yeah.
And it's like because they do the same thing over and over again. They trust the process and they always get in themselves into a good hitter's count. Now good hitters counts are like 0-0, 1-0, 2-1, 3-1.
2-0.
2-0, yeah.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Why is 2-0 the big one?
Because you know you're getting a fastball probably.
And if it's not, it's easy because you're locked into the fastball, right?
And if you
don't get it, the fastball out of the hand, you just leave it, right?
Yeah. But I really love watching him like play, even though he's not like a big name guy. Like the way he like handles his at bats is so like impressive. It's so professional, and then that's what it's like. Okay, that's what it takes to be a professional hitter.
At Okotoks, do you have the iPads on the bench?
No. I wish we did, but we don't. We
At Oregon, will they?
Oregon, they will.
Nice.
Yeah. I believe all colleges do. Not sure, but I think Oregon State does do iPads.
Yeah.
But that's something I'm interested in because I love video.
All the hockey guys that come on here love they're in the Q or junior. They say that iPad is just everything to them.
I love video. I love watching like seeing what I'll go back and I'll like screen record videos like MLB posts on Instagram of hitters, and I'll like dive in deep, like go slow mo to what they're doing. I love watching Yordan Alvarez.
He's a beast.
The Astros guy in the playoffs that just went crazy.
Yeah.
The big like 6'5" Cuban guy.
Kind of came out of nowhere too,
Yeah, and I love watching him because I have kind of like a similar swing to him. We're kind of like straight up, and then we get in. We're like power guys. But I loved like kind of like getting his video and like slowing it down and watching how he like what his mechanics were like, what's his starter, but it's weird because everybody gets the same point of contact, but everybody does it differently.
Gets there differently. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. You say you're a big, like, I guess analytics would be technically part of it, and you're not even that old yet. But at what point did you start going, okay, I'm going to start, diving my brain into this game? Like you said the game within the game, but watching video and stuff. At what point did you immerse yourself in that world and go, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what's going to help me. I'm going to break this all down. And I'm just going to watch video. I'm going to take notes, because it's easy just to not, right?
Yeah.
It's easier just to go to the practice facility and swing, and then you go home, right? But it's the guys that put in that extra effort. It's the guys that are digging deeper and looking for that small, just little thing to get to that point of contact that are obviously moving on and doing better.
Yeah, I kind of realized that, like talent alone isn't going to get me anywhere, so I need to do something that is going to help me get there. And I was like, okay, I love watching these guys on TV. Like, I want to know more. I want to know more about how they go about their business, like what they are doing, like before games, after games, like what they do in the off season, like what they think at the plate. I'm really intrigued about what they think and trying to like copy what they do. So I think like grade 10, like the start of like 17U, when I was like about to go to Okotoks, I started like really watching and watching video, like every video I could find about like professional hitters talk about hitting. And I would just try to remember everything that they were saying. I just write it down and then go back and look. And most of the stuff they were saying, like my dad and my coaches in Okotoks have like already told me.
It's nice to hear it again though, right?
But it's good to hear it from like a professional hitter. And it's good to see learn like what their pregame routine is. Mike Trout says he gets in the cage and he never takes BP on field. Him and Shohei never take BP on field. That's why Shohei didn't do good in the home run derby. It's because he never takes BP on field.
Did they say why they didn't?
He gets too big. Like he tries to hits balls out, and he doesn't really care about hitting balls out in BP. He'd rather hit balls out in a game.
So he's working on that real steady contact,
yeah,
right?
And he would get in the cage and he would like take 10, 15 swings off the tee, get loose. Then he would go to soft toss till he felt good. Sometimes it's 10, sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 30. Then he goes, and whoever's the starting pitcher, he'll take curveballs off that starter, which I found really interesting.
That's not something you hear very often, right?
Which I found really...
Because normally BP's just what? Just dick shots.
BP's just right down the middle.
Yes.
Usually like you're working on stuff, like we would take BP on field, and we have like, you get in there, you have an oppo round, so you go oppo, and then you have a situational round, and then you have... we started doing a pull round, but the other one's like a gap-to-gap fastball, gap-to-gap curveball, and then you do a feel-good round. So you get in there, and when you feel good, you get out.
Nice.
On that note of feel good, that's another one of those unwritten rules. Is you never finish your batting practice round on a shitty swing.
Can't.
And if you're going in there for 10 pitches, and you hit the first 3 square, you're normally just leaving, right? That's like probably the biggest one for those unwritten rules. I don't know why I just thought of that now, but anyways.
Yeah.
How much time are we at right now?
Just a little bit into an hour.
What?
Yeah, time flies, baby.
Holy smoke! I had a question about I had one more question, 2 more questions. One is when you're seeing a ball come at you from a pitcher's hand, are you looking at his hand, or are you looking at his eyes, or are you looking in between both?
I look at his hat. So look at I would like watch this.
Yeah.
Because he's got to come here, so it's easier to just transfer. And then I watch you can this fastball, this changeup, this curveball, so you can easily just switch your eyes over to his hand. That's something my dad taught me.
Said easily. That's not easy.
It's not easy, but I've been doing it for so long that I can kind of like pick it up. And now when pitchers starting to throw harder and it's starting to get harder, it's harder to pick it up. But you really have to work on like knowing like where the pitch starts and what his pitches do and where you think it's going to end up. But it's really a guessing game. It's once you start seeing above 95, it's like, oh god,
the control's out of your hands at that point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It's a guessing game. If you're not guessing, like Ted Williams said he guessed every single pitch of his career.
Yeah, and what did that do for him?
Yeah, best hitter.
Hall of
ever.
Famer. Yeah.
Wow. And what's the plan from now until the season starts?
I head back to Alberta, January, like early January.
Okay, so that's soon.
Yeah. And then we basically do an off season until like we just do like live inside, like a live hitting. We'll do like at bats inside, so we get like 200 at bats before the season even starts.
Wow.
And then I'll head to Florida in March. We play a bunch of like professional teams, like we play the Blue Jays, Phillies, Tigers, and then we go back in April, do the same thing, and then we go Dominican in May, and then our season starts like I think April for Okotoks. And I'll basically just keep training, keep being in the gym. I don't want to go too hard, but keeping it light right now. But that's basically, it's just a normal off season.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a lot of baseball right before before the season starts. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah,
Seeing tons of balls.
You really want to start picking it up, like probably after Christmas is when we usually start picking up. Like we'll go inside like 5 to 6. Or like 5 to 6 or 6 to 7 weightlifting, and then the next hour is like we practice, and then usually if we might come back during the day, and then we take like get extra work in or something like that, or we do like 6 a.m. live in the morning, like pitchers are throwing. Oh yeah, it's pretty cold. It's pretty cold. And it's like -40 in Alberta too, but that's what you gotta love doing it, and I do, so no complaints at all.
Well, dude, Ty, you're the man. I appreciate you coming over. This was awesome.
Yeah, this was fun.
You're a well-spoken kid, and you got a bright future in front of you, so I appreciate you coming over. Really do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to give a shout-out to anyone? Family, friends, coaches, teachers?
Oh, man. I don't know. Shout out my parents.
Big time. You got to do that, man.
Yeah.
If you come on here and don't shout your parents out, then you're going to go home.
They listen to the whole episode. You know that.
Yeah. Shout out Coach Cole on Team C. Really helps me with everything. Pete Orr.
Petey Orr. He's a Canadian legend,
Yeah,
too.
Canadian legend. Tyler Hollick and all the coaching staff at Okotoks. Even our pitching coach helps me a lot with hitting, too. Like, just on the bench, he'd be like, yeah, he's going to throw you this first pitch. And he does. It's, like, ridiculous. I don't know how he does it.
Psych.
That's unreal.
All my buddies. Carson Heinmarsh, he's committed to Tennessee at West. He, like, every time I go crazy after I got out or something, he'd be like, bro, just calm down. Like, you're good. Like, you're good. Like, you're good. But, yeah, I think that's it.
All right.
I got to throw one more thing in here, and I messaged Header before because I know you grew up around the field with Header, and he's been a big part of the baseball community around here.
Yeah.
I asked him, I said, is there any memories? I asked him if you were the bat boy at all. I know you did like a couple games when you were real young, which this is crazy for me too, right? I was playing for the Dry, you were the bat boy, now you're 10 times farther in your career than I am, right? But anyways, Header, he goes, I can't really remember anything crazy. He goes, but what I can remember is that this kid had a perfect swing at the age of fucking 5. And he's just so mad about it because... And it is, and I have a video queued up here, and it's just such a natural thing, and I think it's in your blood. But I just thought that was a really funny thing for him to say, and I do remember it because you've taken BP with us a couple times, and I'm like, I'm not swinging after the 5-year-old. Like he's gonna make me look stupid. But anyways, man, it's been a pleasure, and we're all gonna be watching you for as long as you're doing what you're doing. So
I appreciate it.
Cheers. All right, everyone, have a good week. We're out Monday. Work hard, have fun. We're out. Peace.